But in fact, the problem is huge. Just what we have right now, students don't have jobs, and so they can't pay back these loans. If they default, their interest rates shoot sky high, their credit ratings are ruined, and they are not allowed to file for bankruptcy. So this is a debt they could be carrying for life. Well, that means they're not out there participating in the economy. They're not shopping. I realize there's an issue about shopping that you may think that's, we don't necessarily want shopping to go on because that's going to use up resources. But these are basic services that they can't afford. They can't afford a home. They can't afford to get jobs. So they can't. These are the people that if you gave them the money, if the money went to the students, you would stimulate the economy. Contrary to what we have now, where the money goes to the banks and it just sits there. So how could we solve this $1 trillion debt overhang? There are two ways. Both and the Federal Reserve have the power to solve this problem. Again, it's a situation where we need to lean on our politicians to do something about it. Congress, in the U.S. Constitution, says Congress shall have the power to coin money and regulate the value thereof. Congress could, if it chose, it could create a $1 trillion, put it in its bank account, and buy up, start writing checks and buy up that entire $1 trillion debt and rip it up. If it so chose, it could do that. It's not, it's not going to do that because Congress is totally deadlocked. They seem to be, both parties are bent on stopping the other party from doing anything, so nothing happens at the congressional level of significance. But the Federal Reserve has essentially are an independent body, and they've been criticized for being dictatorial, but they seem to be moving in the right direction right now, where they're trying to give some homeowner debt relief. They could do that with student debt as well. The Federal Reserve did quantitative easing in the sum of $1.2 trillion. This is money that was just created on the books of the Fed, and they bought up $1.2 trillion worth of mortgage-backed securities from the banks. So it was just an asset swap. The Fed had the mortgage-backed securities, and the banks got the money, but the money just sat there. And at best, the banks are money-making machines, so they're not actually in the productive economy. If you want that money to get in, you need to create demand, and that means particularly giving it to the young people. Those are the people who will get out there and buy the new homes, who will, they buy cars, they frequent the malls, they stimulate productivity. If you increase demand, then the factories put in more orders, then they hire more people, and that's how you get jobs going. You've got to get demand out there first, and young people are the place to do it. It might be argued that this would be a windfall to the students, but in fact, higher education should be an economic. That's what Roosevelt said. That's what there was a International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights that was adopted by the UN General Assembly in the 1960s, and it was actually signed by President Carter in 1979. So it's actually part of our law that education, as well as the right to adequate medical care, the right to a job sufficient to provide housing and clothing and food, those are all, and the right to live secure of losing your job in old age or because of disability or because of unemployment. All of those were incorporated in Roosevelt's Bill of Rights, which he said we needed to supplement our political Bill of Rights, that we don't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness unless we have economic security, and that should be guaranteed. But we just thought we didn't have the money. That was 1944. And then the UN did all that. And we do have the money. We just have to revision what money is and where it comes from. We, the people, need to get back the power to create our own and to create our own credit through publicly owned banks. Right now, money is created by banks at interest. So basically, they are renting our money to us. They're renting our credit to us. It's our credit. We should have the value of that. We should be able to pump it back into our own economy. Thank you very much.